People love to talk. They love to hear other people talk. Every single clip on this channel since its inception is about listening to people talk. I freaking love talking to people. I love hearing people talk. There's something addictive about connecting with people with the power of the human voice. The voice is the most highly leveraged asset you have. We're going to be talking a lot about leverage today because I don't know, guys. I really feel like I've been working hard in my studio trying to figure this out for us. If we cannot get the strategy and the system right, it's just life is going to be a grind. It's going to be so hard. But good news, like if we can just put my framework into place, and if you can just hear me out and understand why we're doing these things, and most importantly, why we're not doing other things. It's like so important. I can see it. I can see how this whole thing meshes together in I don't want to say perfect harmony because it's probably not perfect, but it's just so much better than people who aren't going this route in this direction. And it's like, I mean, I don't even know where to begin, but let me just tell you first that like we have to agree on something here. We cannot start a business or a service where we do one-on-one coaching and we absolutely cannot do done-for-you services. Like we can't. And this is very like, you know, not for this style of business, okay? Not for this style of business of being a creator on the internet, all right? Making videos, making audio recordings, podcast lives, all this stuff. Like we have to draw a line in the sand and just be like, we are not going to show up, do our show, and then, hey, reach out to me for one-on-one coaching. That is crazy. I don't care how high ticket it is. Like we just can't do that. Okay. We can't do that because, you know, people believe in their mind that they want to help people, right? And that if it were up to them, they would help lots of people. And I think they're telling the truth, right? But if your whole thing is one-on-one coaching, like you are not making a dent. And if the goal is just to restrict, if you consciously know that you're restricting your ability to help more than one person at a time, knowing that, hey, you know, I'm going to gate this off. This is just going to be me selling this thing like it's a widget. And then as soon as that's done, I go find another person. Like, let me put it this way. So if you are a person who does one-on-one coaching, what if you know, with permission, you would explain this to your client. What if you don't have to change anything just yet, but let's just say that you create a new policy, okay? The policy is that you're going to record your sessions, right? It doesn't, now maybe depending on what you're discussing, it's not appropriate to just like straight up release that to the world or productize it or digitize it and then do something with it. And we'll talk about that in a minute here. But if nothing else, record what you're saying to this person in a generic sense, right? It doesn't have to be their personal information, but you know, that time and energy it's just solid gold in terms of compounding leverage effects and the potential of making your time go further, just further. And so you have to think about that. Just consider that, okay? That digitization of you speaking with your voice to that person can be repurposed, repackaged, given to your existing clients and supporters, members. You know, like if you could do that for people, why wouldn't you? And it just solves so many problems. It solves so many problems. You know, we're brainwashed to think that, how do I say this? I know I was trained at a young age that if you weren't exhausting yourself by working super hard every day to the point where it's just like you're just more or less in emotional and physical pain, then you didn't give it your all that day. You didn't give it your all that day. And I'm not a psychotherapist, so I don't know how to like break those chains in your mind. And I don't even know if I have the ability to do it for myself so readily. All I can say is that I get the concept, and the concept just makes sense, okay? You need to be recording yourself all the time. If you're going to be going down this road of being a content creator, you're going to be recording yourself all the time. Even if it's just like a little digital recording mechanism at your freaking iPhone, whatever. You need to be recording yourself, and you need to be leveraging your voice to make this content creation thing work. There's many ways you can make it as a YouTuber, and I understand that YouTube is a video. The video component of YouTube is, obviously there's people want to watch stuff on YouTube, but I'm telling you, it's just as important, if not more important, to hear what the person has to say. I'm just going by my own preference here. I don't even care what's on the screen. I'm not really watching YouTube these days. I love finding people who know what they're talking about and who are able to speak with grace and clarity and authority. I just can't get enough of it. If I find somebody who fits those criterias, I just want to hear everything. I want to hear everything they have to say. And it's not the video component. I'm telling you, like, all this stuff about YouTube automation, how you're gonna, I see these videos, and I'm telling you guys, this YouTube automation stuff, there are people finding a way to make it work. It's a little bit icky, but I'm not gonna hate on it, okay? But the point is there's just like the AI voice stuff. It's getting actually really good. I am not going to get all boomer tier on you, like acting like, hey man, it's not as good as the human voice. But I'm telling you, like, the human personality and finding someone who knows what they're saying and why they're saying it and has some kind of energy and passion behind it, and like, it's like a drug to me. Like, it's like a drug. I can't get enough of it. I want to hear what people have to say. I want to hear. And there's got to be people like me out there in this world. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. I'm trying to turn my voice and my mind into a business. And I think you could do this too. I really do. I think so long as you're a person who enjoys speaking and is doing something, I think that this framework, which I'm going to go into, I think this framework can work for you. I really do. I think you can make this work as long as you're serious about it and you want to do this as a lifestyle, making it like basically almost an everyday thing, hopefully. And it's so tricky to figure out the difference between, it's like people say, hey man, just make some content and post it. Yeah, I think that's good. Like, just getting started is better than doing nothing at all. So by all means get started, right? But the goal is also to improve bit by bit over time, and to come up with your own style and your own way of speaking to people and determining your topics. I love people who speak off the cuff, who aren't going by a hard script. I think that all this crap about using ChatGPT to generate a script for you and then just reading it off, it can work. It can work. It can sound incredibly insightful and clear and systematic, and that does work. But I'm just telling you what I like, okay? That's what I like. I want to hear real people talking about real experiences, telling real stories, as if I'm sitting down chilling at the bar next to them. Like, that's what I like. That's my lane, okay? I'm not saying it has to be yours, but that's my lane. So, step one is this, okay? You need to just at least start recording yourself every day, even if you're not at the point where you're just going to start putting stuff out into the world. And I even think it's totally fine for you to just don't even worry about the video component unless you want that, okay? But even then, it's got to be a thing where you got a super simple setup where it's like you're just grabbing your cell phone and pointing it at you. That's huge, okay? Just try it out. Record yourself saying something and then immediately listen back to it. I'm telling you, it's like it's just so fun. It's just so fun to me. I listen to stuff I say and I'm like, this guy's hilarious. And I know what you're going to say. It's like, oh my gosh, that's such an ego. Well, yeah, a little bit, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm my biggest fan. And even that alone is such a joy to me. Just saying something, getting something off my chest. Like, I can't wait to get done talking right now so I can freaking play this back and listen to it. Because there's this weird thing that happens, and I can never quite explain it. It's like, as I sit here talking, I feel like a little kind of doubt in terms of like how well I'm organizing this or the direction I'm taking it. But then when I listen back to it, it's always like a slightly better than I thought about it in my mind. But I digress. Anyway, back to our system. So let's just jump back to what I was saying on my last video, okay? I told you you're going to start a YouTube channel. You got to build it up to that 4,000 watch hour and the 500 subs. That's going to take time. So just get started, okay? And put something out every day, okay? Do a great thumbnail, do a great title, practice your marketing and copywriting through your title and thumbnail, and don't skimp on them. Put just as much effort into the title and thumbnail as you do the actual video itself, okay? The video can just be you talking. That's it. That's fine. If you really, really want to streamline this and not even do a thumbnail, and you're the type of person who's totally comfortable being on camera, I've seen plenty of people where it's like, hey, not only is my voice my personal brand, but like you seeing me every day is my personal brand. That can work. There are certain people I follow on YouTube where they don't do anything with their thumbnail except just show a picture of them. And that becomes like a hook. Like, oh, it's that person. Oh, I've listened to like 10 of their videos. Oh, they have a new one today. Great. And then people will click it. So if you're trying to like really streamline it and become the face of your own brand rather than just the voice, then that's an option for you. But otherwise, just come up with a strategy that works, okay? You're going to know if it's working based on how much performance you get. Open up all your videos with a hook. I know it's icky, but like you gotta, like you literally have to. There's all this data, it says like if you can't get the person to listen for the first 30 seconds, you're doomed. You're doomed, okay? And that's something I have to work on too. So, not saying I'm the master. But yeah, you're going to get those dollar YouTube memberships set up. And then that's your product at first, okay? That's your first product. That's you getting your fans to support you, all right? We don't do one-off services. We do highly leveraged, recurring revenue. And I understand it's just $1, but you need to just put your toe in the water and get comfortable with the idea that, like, you know, you're allowed, you're worthy of a fan. And you can say, hey, if you want me to, like, keep doing this, just pledge $1 a month. And it's so frictionless. They can just click the join button and they can join, right? And people, think about it. People love to support people that they love. And if they can do it with a single dollar, it's like, it's just like, I don't know. I know I've already harped on this, how much I love the dollar YouTube membership concept. I know it sounds stupid, but I don't want to get into it. All right. I don't want to get into it. But the point is, that's your first product, okay? Then you're going to do everything I said with regards to the Fourthwall. All right, you're going to get a Fourthwall account. You're going to link up YouTube shopping to your Fourthwall. You're going to create your first digital product. Look at mine. It's a mug, okay? It's a mug. I'm selling a mug, all right? It's an amazing mug. They even give you like a free, they make you do a couple different steps, and then they give you like some kind of weird, hey, it's $25 in sample credit. I ordered the mug. It's a beautiful mug, whatever. So if nothing else, you're going to get a free mug out of this. Or pick another item, okay, a t-shirt or whatever. I think they give you like $25 credit if you do a bunch of steps. The point is, you're setting up your Fourthwall shop so that you can have a digital storefront. But it's not about selling mugs per se. Now, you can sell your merch, and you can go ahead, create some merch, do some graphics to make a logo, okay? Or just have it in place so that you can come back to later when you're ready, okay? This Fourthwall thing, though, it's more about becoming an organized way for you to have different tiered memberships, okay? That's what it's about, and an organized way to have your digital products made available in an easy-to-use interface that's super simple. It's got special features built in, your own ability to customize your page, reminders about your most recent videos, the ability to donate, the ability to have like a mailing list. Like it's got like 90% of everything you could ever need to run your digital empire. And that's why I'm saying, like, this is a great option for now. If we figure out something better in the future, I'll let you know. But for now, this is what we're doing. This is what's worth doing. So that's my suggestion to you. And if you're curious about it, you can look at mine. I've made the decisions that I think make sense, okay? But here's the main thing, okay? We have our dollar YouTube memberships, and that's your product. That's your number one product. That's your bread and butter, okay? Your formula is to show up every day, present something that's valuable, as valuable as you can make it. I would hope. At least try, right? And value comes in all different forms. It can be entertainment, it can be insight, it can be news, information, a story, a joke, or literally like advice about people, something you learned, something to warning people to avoid. It could be political, it could be, economic, it could be, I don't know, it could be anything, like value. Like, you're the value, your mind, your voice, your ability to connect as a human, that's the value, okay? And you're not trying to convince them to, like, hey, I'm here, like I'm like a freaking sleazy salesperson. No, it's just, you're there, you're doing something you would have done anyway. Whoever shows up to hear it is going to show up, and then you're just going to say, like, you know what, just at the end, just would you be so kind as to just join my $1 YouTube membership? It would mean the world to me. All right, and that's your product, and that's your formula, and all you're going to do is just do that over and over and over and over and over every day for the rest of your life. Okay, the fourth wall is going to be where we set up our additional tiers, and I did an outline on this in my last video, but I'll just quickly cover it again. Okay, you're going to have a level 2 tier. That's your $10 tier. You're going to have a level 3 tier. That's your $100 tier. And you're going to have a level 4 tier. That's your $1,000 tier. So we're not going to be talking about the $1,000 tier today, but I think I came up with some ideas that I'm liking in my laboratory brain research about this for the level 2 $10 tier and the level 3 $100 tier. Okay, $10 a month, $100 a month. Now, what are we making available to people for $10 a month? As I said last time, this is your fandom tier. Okay, this is your fandom tier. It's like when you're paying $1 a month, you're just like, you're a casual supporter. It doesn't mean you're not a fan, but you're just casual supporter. Like, here, you want $1 here? Here's $1 a month. I like watching your videos. I show up every time. Here you go. You provided at least $1 of value to me. If all these videos you're putting out every month, that's fine. Here's $1. Okay, but the $10 tier, that's where it's like, okay, now I'm like more of a real fan here. Okay, but we're also going to be creating a pipeline to give things to those people. Okay. When you get into the fourth wall system, you see that they've got all kinds of real world shippable products that they take care, and those are things you can buy. But here's something I discovered: you can actually do all sorts of digital products inside of fourth wall, and it could be like a podcast, a video, an ebook, digital products, right? And here's the coolest thing. You can set those products to $0 and then also place a setting, which is at the very bottom of the product setup page, where it's like, this product, yeah, it's $0, but it's only for this particular member, all right? So, you can take this idea and run with it, because there's all kinds of different strategies and approaches you could come up with in terms of bringing these digital products into your membership program, all right? I created a few just as a test for now. So if you want to look at those, go look at them, right? But they're not going to light the world on fire. I'm just kind of trying to demonstrate and learn the system for the moment. But the whole idea is, the person who's going to join your $10 membership, yeah, they're going to get access to your Discord, the level 2 of the Discord, whereas people who pay $1 a month, they get level 1 access. Yeah, they get that. But they also get everything you've created to date that's been placed into that particular tier as a digital product. So the whole freaking strategy is 100% fully leveraged, because the only thing we do over here as a group, as a network, is highly leveraged things so that we can reach more people through time. And everything. And this is your highly leveraged collection of digital products. And the goal is to get creative with it. You can make whatever you want. You can add all kinds of stuff to this. Okay, the whole idea is to just start populating this thing. Now, I'm not saying fill it up with junk. I'm not saying that, right? Like, it's got to make sense. It's got to kind of like match the stuff you're talking about. But check it out. Like, you can create like a one-page ebook of something useful, something nice. Okay, it could be the outline for what you are about to do your video about. You could sit down, make yourself a beautiful one-page ebook, get it all perfectly formatted, bring it into Google Docs, and like really make it nice, like a one-page beautiful mini ebook, right? And that could be your outline for when you do your video that day. And then you can shout out this ebook and how it's available in your vault. You can call it the vault, I don't know, $10 vault, level 2 vault. It's and the whole idea is to just keep compounding. Like you're just continuing to put stuff in there, and like hopefully good stuff, but it doesn't have to be like stuff that's going to change the world. Just like cute things, fun things, things that you think your viewers would like, things that make sense, things that match what your interests are. And it could be anything. It could be anything. So I put like a couple things in mind, right? It's like I like the idea of putting a rain soundtrack behind your voice bed, just as a strategy. I haven't talked about that yet, but I'll get into that another time. But it's just like a 10-hour, completely public domain rain soundtrack that I found. And in my mind, this is a highly leveraged idea because that could be your whole freaking brand. Instead of like pulling your hair out every day trying to find like audio tracks, dealing with copyright, or having to mix things up all the time, like finding the right music beds or whatever, you could just resign yourself to putting an audio bed of rain for every video you ever make until the end of time. And that could be like your thing, right? That could be your thing. That could be a cool thing. And there's something so soothing about hearing a person talk over a light bed background sound of rain. It's just like, it's just another one of my brilliant genius leverage concepts for content creation. Okay? Voice-centric content creation. So your $10 tier becomes your vault of items. And check this out. Here's one more little thing I'll add to that today. And this is something I'm going to do too, although I haven't done it yet, but probably by the time you hear this, this will be in there. So I also realized that every once in a while, I do an audio recording on my little digital recorder here that I say to myself, you know what? I'm kind of like cursing a little bit too much in this. This doesn't quite fit what I want to be putting on the channel right now. So I'm not doing that, right? But then I was like, but at the same time, it's also like kind of fire and pretty cool. Like I sit back and I listen to it, I was like, this is actually kind of freaking entertaining. So it's almost a shame not to do something with it. So I decided I'm gonna put this in my vault, my $10 membership vault, okay? So that's just like every time you add something in there, it becomes another thing you can mention. Each one of the items, it becomes browsable through your Fourthwall. Okay, so you can kind of see a preview of what it is. You could make it very mysterious. You could just be like, this is just an untitled podcast. Maybe you're not even trying to sell it. Maybe you're not trying to promote it. It creates curiosity. It's like, what the heck is what's the untitled podcast? Why aren't they even trying to sell it to me? I'm never going to get to know what it is unless I join the membership. Okay, which is something I want to do anyway because I want to support this person because I like them. I'm their fan. So it's a nice little thing to do, is to support someone you like and who you want to hear more from, and then they get to support you, and then they get to hear this cool little secret hidden podcast, right? And that could be something you do every day. Okay, Fourthwall, in my research, it's a little less picky about maybe like being a little bit spicier with your content. Obviously, I don't say like horrible, crazy, off the wall stuff, but I'm just talking about like cursing and stuff. Like I've heard that if you can definitely curse on YouTube, by the way, but I've heard that there's some sort of a threshold where if you're cursing too much, or I think it does sort of, it's okay every once in a while, but like it could impact your social credit score through the YouTube algorithm. So I think this is a great option to, this is your paywall stuff. And I'm not saying even produce a video for it. I'm talking like this is your raw, just off the cuff recordings that you want to share them, but you don't want to share them out into the world. So you put them in your Fourthwall as a product. Okay. And it's up to you if you want to promote them or not. And then just to wrap this up, we'll talk about the $100 tier. And this is something I'm still working on this, but I was like pulling my hair out trying to figure out what the freak is this $100 tier, and how are we going to get this thing to work with our leverage concepts? Like everything we have to do has to be highly leveraged as a principle. How does this work? No, it's not a one-on-one coaching session. Like it's not consultation. Like we aren't allowed to do that based on the principles that I'm trying to get through your head here. Okay, we're not doing that. But what could it be? What could it be? No, it's like even like live group sessions. That's better than one-on-one, especially if you're recording it and you plan to potentially digitize it, productize it, and do something with it later. Here's what I think. This is the best idea I've been able to come up with for this, okay? And it's kind of cool, I think. I mean, ask me tomorrow. They might have a different opinion, but right now I think it's a cool idea, okay? So the $100 tier, and this is an example that only really applies to what I believe is becoming my brand, which is all about highly leveraged concepts, becoming a creator, using your voice to create a content empire, right? My $100 tier, at least at the moment, it's basically going to be like for the serious people who truly want to support you. They want access to the level 3, the layer 3 Discord exclusive, more exclusive tier of Discord, right? But they also, like, that's not enough, is what I'm saying. Like, that's not enough. Like, we need to be doing something here that's cool and interesting and fun. So, but we can't do one-on-one coaching. We can't do sit around in the live all day. We're not doing that. Okay. So here's what I came up with. It's going to be a thing where, for those who are resonating with what I'm talking about, and hopefully for those who are actually serious about this game in terms of becoming a better speaker, presenter, entertainer, educator, quote, influencer, whatever you want to call it, for those who are serious about that and who are vibing with what I'm saying about it, all hinges from the voice and your personality and your level of comfort jumping on camera, jumping on mic to become this personality and to forge a path forward for your future. This is now going to be an asynchronous workshop, zine, hybrid podcast, experiment, dojo type thing. Okay? Now, what do I mean by that? It means that, we're going to have to get some people in there first. I'm not going to lie to you. But even without people in there, the whole idea is this is where we will, with no particular schedule in place whatsoever, we will use this as a studio to practice our presentations and share them with one another. In other words, it's kind of similar to doing a consultation with someone, but here's why it's better. Instead of like scheduling a time and jumping on a call and being like, we're going to talk for exactly 30 minutes. No, the whole idea is you're going to go in the Discord, you're going to do a voice message. Anytime you want, any length you want, you're going to do a voice message, right? And we're going to do this back and forth thing where we're putting our thoughts and our little voice clips, we're manifesting them, we're making them real recordings. It's a freaking recording session, okay? It's a dynamic, asynchronous recording session. And we're going to go back and forth. We're going to practice our presentations. We're going to give each other feedback. We're going to have conversations about certain topics. Maybe some of the topics I'm talking about would make sense, or things that pertain to that these people's particular focus, the vision they have for their own digital empire, built by these amazing leverage concepts, which I'm not going to shut up about. And we go back and forth, right? But it's all very organic. It's like if you're not around, you're not going to be able to go back and forth, right? But then maybe there's time where people are around, we're hanging out, and it becomes this thing where we're just kind of like passing voicemails back and forth. But again, remember how I said everything we have to do has to be highly leveraged? Well, that's the beauty of this, is like we're producing this asynchronous recording session back and forth, and like maybe we're not going to like encapsulate every moment of this stuff, right? But if something meaningful happens, or whether it's conversational between different people, or if it's a particular person who's just like dropping the heat, okay, we can work as a group collectively, be like, oh my gosh, like we're all working on being better presenters and saying things good so that we can build our media empires and get engagement and people to become part of our private networks. So we're working together at this point, okay? Like, I don't know if I necessarily want to call it coaching, but it's just about having people there who have an opinion, who weigh in. Like sometimes you just need someone there to offer a little bit of advice or maybe a suggestion that could improve things, or a preference. And it's practice. It's a dojo. It's an asynchronous, dynamic audio zine. Like, and that's the cool thing too. Then we can take that content and we can produce it into something, okay? And like maybe I haven't thought that far ahead, right? But the option has to be there based on the principles I'm talking about. The option has to be there. We only do highly leverageable things, digitized things that we can do something with, all right? So I'm going to leave it at that for now. I do have more to say, but this is a good time to cut it off. I want you to join my dollar YouTube membership, okay? Especially if you're vibing with any of this, because I know that some of the people listening to this are like, "Why? This does not interest me at all." That's fine. Okay, I'm looking for the few people who are. All right. This is what I'm obsessed with. I'm thinking about this all day, every day, and I don't have a choice. Like I don't have a choice. When I get obsessed with something, like that's it. So join the dollar YouTube membership. Check out my Fourthwall, and not saying to buy anything, although by all means go for it, but just to see what I'm talking about here in terms of how you can set up your Fourthwall. That's way bigger of a priority. But get your freaking Fourthwall set up. It's good stuff. I suggest that you have an amazing day, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.